Well, Sunday's showdown between the Chiefs and Packers would not be the matchup we all thought we were going to see. Aaron Rodgers out after testing positive for COVID-19 and no timetable on his return just yet. Rodgers and the Packers have been rolling with 7 straight wins after that Week 1 loss and at top of the NFC. So Sunday we'll get Jordan Love's first career start, but here's head coach Matt LaFleur on what life would be without QB1 on Sunday.
Hey, it's a great challenge. Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. And we all have to prepare to the best of our ability to go down there and get a win. And that's the mindset. I mean, they're not going to postpone or cancel the game. We have a game to play. It's the next man up mentality, and that's how we've operated for everybody. I think our guys will rally around Jordan. We've got a lot of confidence in him, and what a great opportunity for him to showcase what he can do.
So, of course, when it comes to the situation with Rodgers, a statement released, the primary responsibility for reinforcement or enforcement of the COVID-19 protocols within club facilities rests with each club. Failure to properly enforce the protocols has resulted in discipline being assessed against individual clubs in the past. The league is aware of the current situation in Green Bay and will be reviewing the matter with the Packers. Let's bring in senior NFL writer here, Jason Canfora, with more on this. And we already know Rodgers is out Sunday, but if you're the Packers, now you might have to worry about possible discipline coming down. What's the next step for them as we get past Sunday as well into the next week?
Well, I mean, if you look at last year as a guide, you had situations where teams were fined $250,000. You had situations where teams, were docked draft picks, depending on their behavior vis-a-vis these protocols and whether they thought institutionally they were being applied appropriately or not. So as for Aaron Rodgers individually, I mean, we'll see. As the league says, they're gathering information. They're looking into this. Certainly there are stipulations in the reworked collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners for these COVID years that allow for fines to be issued and then ultimately for there to be more substantial individual punishment as well. I'm not sure that that's something the Packers are necessarily going to be pushing for. I wouldn't think they would be, and we'll see if the league goes there. But if you look at the wording of that statement, it's more about the team, right, and the ability for them to ensure that these protocols are being enforced properly.
A little bit more on the table for the Packers, not only wondering how long they'll be without QB1, but what's next after that. Over in Indy, Carson Wentz coming off those late picks against Tennessee. The Colts are 3-5, and not to mention they have that trade that went down with Philly hanging over their head when it comes on draft picks and his playing time. But how much importance of this week or the next few weeks for Carson Wentz is it there?
Well, I mean, look, they want to see this thing out. Frank Reich goes pretty far back with Carson Wentz to their time in Philadelphia, and they look at him as their best opportunity to win. He was playing pretty good football up until a couple of terrible turnovers in that game against Tennessee. But if you're the Colts, you're sitting there right now. You're looking at Tennessee's schedule. You're looking at Tennessee, and what are they going to be without Derrick Henry? You know, what does that look like? How much does that affect their DNA and their ability to operate the way they're used to operating? So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously heightened importance. The AFC is a little bit of a mosh pit. There's a lot of teams that are at least on the periphery or could make the case that they're in the playoff hunt, and I think the Colts are certainly one of those teams, although the 2 head-to-head losses to the Titans means they're going to have to make up some hay in the win-loss column if they're going to be a factor in terms of an AFC South division.
Staying in the AFC, there's a great chance the Jets will not make the postseason here. We can guarantee that. But Mike White, boy, delivered in 405 and 3 touchdowns, putting something on tape here, their second win of the year. What are we watching for him the next few weeks, of course, with Zach Wilson out?
Well, they didn't really push the ball downfield. You know, I think it was 4.4 yards per attempt or something like that. He did a great job of being a point guard, getting rid of the ball quickly. That's a good Bengals defense. 10 different players caught balls. He really kind of spread it around and kept everybody involved. Do you see them making more plays intermediate, deep downfield? How much of that is available to him? Again, this is not a team that's overloaded with talent in terms of skill positions, but they're leaving the door open for Mike White to make this a legitimate competition and to force the issue. Now, if this is a kid who hasn't played much, he's turning around on a short week, that's never easy. I'm not sure he's going to throw for 400 yards every week. In fact, he probably won't. But even those 2 interceptions don't think they were horrible decisions by him. Bengals made some athletic plays that tip some balls, get some things going in a different direction, and then they capitalize on the ball in the air. But he seems like a confident guy. He's very well liked in that locker room. Crazy things happen in this league sometimes, and if he were able to go out there and play well tonight, Zach Wilson and that knee injury is probably gone from being a couple of weeks to 2 to 4 weeks to maybe 6 to 8.
Jay, so you already giving up on Zach Wilson already?
It's not me. It's not me. It's them. Just listen to what they're saying, and frankly, I don't blame them. They got to win some football games, and if this is an opportunity, if you've got a diamond in the rough here, you might as well try to polish him up while you can, because the reality is the way Zach Wilson was getting hit and the way he was playing, sitting down for 2 or 4 weeks is probably not the end of the world anyway. In fact, it maybe just what the doctor ordered.
All right, we'll see what happens. Hey, look, if you're a QB2 right now, they are winning. So they're all 1-0 from what we saw last week. So keep that train rolling there. Jason Canfora, as always, my friend, appreciate the time breaking down everything. You can catch the fellas on Pick 6 Podcast doing the same. The Super Friends always giving us the action, of course, looking into Sunday. Download and give them a follow.